Good evening, everyone. I'm waiting on a very, very special guest. I have a special treat for each and every one of you that's going to be listening and watching to this great episode. So just hold on and sit back and relax. You're going to take a lot of notes today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we about to start the show shortly. So remember, you're going to take lots of notes.
Hey, how's it going, Arthur?
Hey, James, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to see you again.
All righty. How's it been going?
Good, going good. It's been a long time. Been many years.
Yes. I see you still doing great work. And how is it going in Vegas with the pandemic and everything?
I'm actually in Florida at
Oh,
my place in Florida, and I haven't been back to. Well, actually, I was there one time since the pandemic happened, but it's like a ghost town.
mm.
So yeah, I've been stuck on the East Coast and just have not gone back, and it's just nothing going on there. So
Oh, wow. So
yeah,
what's new for you? What's on your radar screen that I should know about?
just oh, what's new, man? I don't know. Just got a whole bunch of coaching members and just, Zoom's new since March.
Yes. Zoom, they equity position, this year alone it reached a billionaire status. Isn't that
Yep, I heard that. Yeah, yeah. I missed it. I missed buying stock by 1 month.
Wow. Yes. Well, I appreciate you coming on my platform. And
Sure, man. Absolutely.
I told a great friend of mine about you, and his name is Gordon Bazar. He
Okay.
generates millions of dollars in the private equity industry.
Okay.
He's worked with Tony Robbins and marketing guru Jay Abraham.
Okay.
And I told him about you. He went to your website and he was blown away with what you're doing in the entrepreneurial space,
Oh,
especially
okay.
teaching entrepreneurs and business owners on how they can make big money as being a professional speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said that he would love to do a 30-minute conference call with you to see how y'all can create value for one another.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Just give him Cindy's email
Mhm.
because she runs everything for me. I don't do any scheduling or anything. She actually I work for her. She tells me what I'm doing every day. So, but yeah, happy to do that.
All righty. I'll definitely put that together because he's actually
Okay.
over in the West Coast in California.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, I would normally be in the West Coast, but I got literally, I got back, I got to Florida, and then 1 week later is when everything happened and it all got shut down. And so I was sort of stuck here for a while. Fortunately, I have a house in Florida.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I just flew back there. I think it was last month for the first time. Um, because I had to get some papers, and
Oh.
they were there in a storage unit. I have real estate, and I was doing a real estate deal, and I had to go all the way back to get papers.
Oh,
So I
wow.
flew there, got the papers, and came back.
So you back and forth with Florida and Vegas?
What's that, buddy?
You back and forth with Florida and Vegas?
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
Yeah, but I have a renter. I have somebody in Vegas that rents the house. So
Oh, wow, wow. Oh, you just rocking and rolling. You still rocking and rolling.
God's been good to me, man. I'm very blessed.
Well, you thinking about taking your company public and sell it for multiple figures?
Nope, no, that's too much work, and I'd rather keep it lean and mean and have a high net.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't want employees. I don't want none of that stuff.
Ooh, wow. So you like being a one-man show?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And if you systematize everything, you don't need a lot of people.
Yes,
That's
yes, that's
that's
absolutely true. Yeah.
systematize, and then we outsource, the stuff, and
Mhm.
you don't need a big team. And I never want to get into managing teams, and
Mhm.
most of it's a waste. It's lean and mean. So we keep it lean and mean, and keep the green. There we go. Lean and mean and keep the
Keep
green.
it great.
That's a good little rhyme.
Wow. So with the pandemic and everything, did that slow down your business model in terms of like, people coming and congregating and learning how to make big money as being a professional speaker?
It did not for me because I have 137 coaching clients, private coaching clients.
Mhm.
And so um, our fees are 25, 40, and 100 grand. So um, we just shifted and did everything through Zoom. Matter of fact, I was just on with my coaching clients for 2 hours doing Q&A with them right
Mm.
before I jumped on here.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so they're not, we don't have the events
Mhm.
because of the pandemic, and we're not doing our in-person masterminds like we usually do 3 times a year, but
Okay.
we had to shift to do virtual masterminds. But we're eventually going to get back to it, whenever everything slows down and it's safe. We'll get back to that, and the speaking world will be back.
Oh,
It's actually coming back. you
yes.
know
Yes.
Joe Theismann's one of my best friends who used to quarterback the Redskins, and
Mhm.
I just was talking to him the other day, and he was actually flying out to Las Vegas to
Mm.
do a speech in Vegas. Now it was only for 100 folks because
Mm.
they were all spread out, but it was a convention in Vegas, and he went there to speak live. So it's starting to come back, and he and a couple other friends have been doing some live events, live speaking.
Mm.
Um, but
Wow.
but I haven't thrown. I'm waiting until 2022 before I throw an actual live event.
Are you still working with your buddy Ed Rush?
Oh no, 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 that was years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Wow.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was wow. So that's the last
That
time
was a
we
wonderful
talked.
combination.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that must have been. So Ed was a coaching client of mine.
Okay.
Um, Shoot, I don't remember. 08, 09, something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the last time we talked?
No, that was like back in 12. Matter of fact, we reconnected at Charlie McDermott's event.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, and that
Mhm.
was after the Secret Millionaire. When
Right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. My buddy Charlie. Yeah, and he's actually Charlie lives in Florida now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot of people relocating.
yeah, yeah. Well, uh, some states are doing it better than others.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
are you in Philly? Is that right?
Philadelphia, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yes. I
cool.
just said Jeff Hoffman, he was on my program, and he was actually the co-founder of Priceline.
He's one of my good friends. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I've had Jeff speak at my events many times.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that and also I see that you had Anthony Hopkins was actually speaking on your platform. How did that all come about?
Just I have a lot of connections.
Mm.
And I used to have an office on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills too. So
Okay.
prior to all this, I used to be a financial consultant. My office was on Rodeo Drive, and I handled a lot of people in the entertainment industry. And so I was really good at maintaining those relationships over the years.
Now that's when you did the big event. I think you had like 500 to 800 people there. I know it was
Yeah,
a huge event.
yeah, we were averaging at one time between 750 to 850 for
Mm.
for the speaker event, which is because that's so niched, right?
Right.
And that would be like 3,000 people at a regular event because the speaking industry is so niched. And people, I remember, I'll tell you, or by the way, this is part of the interview.
I'm going to make it part of the interview.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to rock and roll in 1 minute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because I have to jump in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because I have a 2-hour coaching session coming up.
Oh, all right. Okay. You ready to rock and roll?
Ready, brother. Whenever you are.
Good evening, everyone. This is Arthur Robinson Jr. I'm the creator and host of the Powerful Interviews podcast. And today I have another special interview for each and every one of you. Today I have a wonderful person on the show. He's a great friend of mine. His name is James Malinchak. For those that don't know James, let me explain to each and every one of you about this incredible, phenomenal man. James Malinchak, for over 25 years, he's been speaking and coaching other professional speakers on how they can make big money as a professional speaker. His website is called bigmoneyspeaker.com, and he is a professional author. He's wrote several books, and I love 2 of his books. Well, I love the titles. The first book that I love is called Success Starts with Attitude, and his other book that I love, which is called Millionaire Success Secrets. And that is an awesome, impressive resume. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome the one, the only, the powerful James Malinchak to the show.
Well, where's the band, man? Dun, dun, dun. Everybody get up. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's getting better each and every single day. How you doing?
And it could be worse. Every day we wake up, it's going to be a good one. It could be worse, right?
Absolutely. I can't wait till the pandemic is over and everybody gets back to congregating how things used to be.
Yeah, me too. But you know what? Even during this, I've never complained one time because I just think, man, I'm very blessed because there are a lot of people that lost loved ones and are having a lot worse than I have it. So what am I complaining about? Because I got to stay inside for a little while,
Right.
So yeah, I'm just grateful to be alive and healthy and talking to my man, Arthur. We go back a long ways.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. James, can you explain to the audience, for the people that don't know you, who is the phenomenal James Malinchak? How long you been in your powerful industry? And what is your expertise?
Oh, man. So I was born in a van down by the river. Right? Isn't that what every motivational speaker says? Right? I grew up in a tiny steel mill town outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, population of about 6,000 folks. And we didn't have much growing up. Dad worked in the steel mill. He was a railroad conductor working on the trains and hauling coal and scrap. And mom was a lunch mother at the school serving lunches to us kids. And so my first big dream was to play Division I college basketball to try to help get me out of the town and achieve some dreams. So I took a basketball scholarship to the University of Cincinnati out of high school. And then my coach had gotten relieved of his duties. That's a very nice way to say he was fired. And so I transferred and went and played ball out in Hawaii. And I caught a pass in a game. And that's back, Arthur, when they had rubber basketball courts. Because in theory, that would be better for your joints. But a rubber sneaker on a rubber court sticks, right? On a wooden court, you get a slide. But so I planted, my sneaker stuck to the rubber sneaker stuck to the rubber floor. And when I cut, my knee ripped in half. And so that was the end of my basketball career. So moved to Los Angeles and started my career as a stockbroker. It's what I always wanted to do. And was very blessed at a young age to win some awards and manage the investments of some major entertainers and athletes and celebrities. And then I got asked one day to come and speak and teach this group how I built my business so fast, because I didn't do it with cold calling or anything like that. I did it through relationships. And I was like, I don't speak. I'm a financial advisor guy. I don't speak. And the guy said, well, we need you to talk. We'd like you to talk to our people for about 40 minutes. Just, tell them how you stay motivated and, what you did and all that. And by the way, I'll pay you $5,000. I said, I speak.
Real quick.
I was like, whoa, yeah. I was like, what? Like, you're going to pay me $5,000 to talk? I'll figure out something to say.
Mm.
And so I did, and one led to, he liked it, and he had me come speak to another group, and then another group, and I'm like, this is crazy. And then we were talking earlier, one of my best friends is Joe Theismann, an NFL legend quarterback. And Joe started to explain to me back then about the speaking industry. And I always credit Joe. He's the one who got me started in speaking, because I didn't even know there was an industry where you could talk and, help people and actually get paid for it. It just, it was so far from my reality. And here we are now. I've done over 3,000 talks over the years. I've written 24 books. I have 21 online courses, and have coaching programs for folks that want to do what I call become a big money speaker. Because there's two sides, Arthur. There's the message that you have, right? We all have, and how we help people and your story. And then on the flip, that's why my logo is a coin, because on one side we have the message, and on the flip side of the coin, we got this thing called the business. Right. And so what I do is I teach folks the business side of it. Like, how do you take what you love, that passion, that story, that message, and what you want to teach, whether it's real estate, spirituality, whether it's get your life on purpose, whatever it is, but how do you take that and how do you monetize it? And that's what Big Money Speaker and bigmoneyspeaker.com is. It's the business side of speaking. So that's kind of how it all happened. I was very blessed to be on the ABC TV show Secret Millionaire also, because of the speaking that I've done. So very blessed. Now I get to be on with my man Arthur.
Now, James, I love that show, the ABC's, Secret Millionaire. And it was a powerful show, but why didn't it last that long? Like, what was I don't understand, like, what was the recipe behind that? It should have lasted long. That should have been on for years and years and years, like you see your
Oh
old
yeah.
TV reruns.
Yeah.
What happened?
So there is a blessing that happened. And the blessing that happened, and I hate to say it this way because it's a weird thing to say, but with the show going off the air, it was a true blessing for me, because everybody now remembers me. I have top of mind awareness. I mean, Arthur, it's crazy, man. I was sitting at my friend is Doc Rivers, coaches out in your area, the Sixers. Right, he used to coach the Clippers, and one of my good friends that I've helped a lot, assistant coach with Doc. And so I was in Miami, and they were playing. I went down to see LeBron, and they were playing, and I'm sitting in an arena, 20,000 people, and people were coming up to me out of the blue and saying, "Hey, aren't you the Secret Millionaire guy?" And that was like years ago, right? But because the show was no longer on, I was kind of the last person in everybody's mind. So everybody knows me as that person, right? If there were subsequent seasons, then I probably would have been forgotten. So it was a blessing in that way. But to answer your question is, people started figuring it out, because what you don't realize is, like, when I was on the show walking, you just see me, but I probably had 15 people around me, right? So I had one guy that his job was nothing but my microphone, and to make sure that there wasn't a plane flying 30,000 feet up, because that would get picked up. And then there's other people walking carrying these big reflector things that would reflect the light off my face so that the video would be of quality. And then there's there's police officers to keep us safe. And I mean, so there's like at all times 15, 20 people around you, right? So people notice that, right? And so they started to figure it out. And that's really what happened.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So then what happened was people were trying to get on the show, their organizations or their charities, because they knew they were going to be rewarded with money.
Oh.
So it became that strange situation.
So now, in the past, you always educate entrepreneurs and business owners and speakers that you're not just a marketer, you are a marketer who is marketing your speaking services. Can you touch on that? Because that's extremely important when you want to get noticed, get lots of attention for your brand.
Oh yeah. I always say, look, you can have the best, you can be the best speaker in the world. You can have the most impactful message. You can have the biggest heart and want to help as many people as you can. But if I could outmarket you, I'll beat you every day of the week. It doesn't mean I'm a better speaker. All that means is I'm able to market myself and get to the people who are the decision makers, who control the budgets and who determine who speaks and who gets paid to speak. And if I can get to them and you don't, I'm going to win. And so, and Arthur, that's really the key to, let's take fee paid speaking. That's the key to it, right? You have to get to the people who make the decisions and also control the budgets and pick speakers and write the checks for the speaking. And you got to get them to choose you. And so when I literally went from 0 talks to doing 100 a year, and did that, I always did 100 talks a year when I was doing nothing but just speaking. People were like, how's he doing this? Like, he's not famous. He didn't fall out of an airplane and live. Right? He didn't have a New York Times best-selling book. He didn't have a movie made about his life. He didn't win an Olympic gold medal. It's like, so how is this guy booking all these talks? Like, who is he? Like, nobody knows him. Well, here's the key. I figured out the key that unlocked the treasure chest. You just got to get to the people who run events, and you got to get them to pick you. And I was really good at that. Really good. Matter of fact, there was a time, Arthur, when I was really cranking a bunch of talks where I had a database of about 10,000 event coordinators built up. And, you know, and I call it my 10-10-10 philosophy. If I market to 10,000 coordinators through emails and through like a brochure marketing piece in the mail, and 10% of them get interested, that's 1,000. And if 10% of them book me, that's 100 paid talks. Well, if your fee is, let's make this easy, $10,000, that's $1 million you just made.
Absolutely.
And what did it cost to get in front of those 10,000 folks? Well, watch this. If a mail piece plus the postage cost you $1, it cost you $10,000 to bring back $1 million. You know, and so I just was able to figure that out really early, thank goodness. Because prior to figuring that out, I didn't know how to book a talk, man. I was, and it got to a point, Arthur, I don't know if you know this story, where I was so broke that I actually had to work in a video store, and I made $7 an hour in Los Angeles area, trying to live in LA, making $7 an hour, right?
Yes.
And my favorite thing, I laugh now, but I didn't laugh back then. I always say my favorite thing was my Costco card. You know, because I could go to Costco and I would buy big jars of ragu spaghetti sauce. I would dilute those with water because it would last longer. And I would get big bags of pasta because they're so cheap, right? And I had those like in my pantry and in my garage and under my bed. And for 3 years, man, 3 years, I lived on pasta because I thought when I quit my job as being a broker, that I would naturally just book talks. So that talk I did for $5,000, when that guy called out of the blue, I thought that was just going to happen. Right? Well, that was a lucky thing, right? That happened. I got into that with that guy by pure luck. So when I went full boat into the business, I blew through all the money I had in no time at all because I had 0 talks and I couldn't figure out why. And the reason was I wasn't marketing and getting to the people who controlled the events. I didn't know any of that. So that's why for 3 years, I ate pasta with diluted ragu. I don't recommend anybody eat that. But that was the cheapest thing. Oh, and also peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because that's pretty cheap too.
Wow. Well, that's good that you express your humble beginnings to, you made that transition from that to where you are today.
Yeah.
And, when you was on that, hit TV show Secret Millionaire, that just raised your brand awareness to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Now, the word entrepreneur means entreprendre, and it was a Latin word that was invented in the 15th century in France. And a gentleman by the name of John Baptist, he invented the word, and over 300 years later, that word still exists, which is entrepreneur. So entre means between, and ponder means to take. So it means to take lower productivity and increase it to higher productivity. Can you explain to the audience, how are you increasing your productivity in your current businesses?
That's a great question. So I've never had a business plan. And I know that shocks people, right?
Mhm.
I've always had these little rules as an entrepreneur that I follow and try to live by and run the business by. So maybe if I share a couple of rules, it will answer your question. Okay.
Okay.
So one time a person said, "Hey, I'm coming to Las Vegas." And this is where I was at the time, living in Las Vegas. "I'm coming to Las Vegas. Could I swing by your house and take a look at your business and everything and how you run it?" And I said, "You know what? I'm going to tell you what, I'll save you a trip because I'll just tell you what I do."
Mm.
And they're like, "No, no, I want to come and see your office and how it's run with everything and all that." I'm like, and they kept persistent,
Mm.
right? So I said, "All right, come on." So they came over. I never forget when my friend came over, and I took her into my office, my spare bedroom in my house, and there was a card table set up, right, that I bought for like, I don't know, $30 at Kmart or Sears,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
There was a computer sitting on my desk with a phone,
Mhm.
and there was a church calendar hanging on a wall where I wrote everything. Like, here's when I'm speaking here, here's when I'm speaking there, etc.
Mm.
And I said, "Here you go. There's my whole multi-million dollar business." And she was
Mm.
like, "What? Like, where are all the people and all that?" I'm like, "Every dollar I spend on all that nonsense is one less dollar in my retirement account."
Ooh.
And I said, if you run everything the right way, you know that line, Arthur, don't work harder, work smarter.
Mhm.
Biggest lie that people have been telling you forever. It's not
Mm.
about working harder or smarter. It's about working right. If
Mm.
you work the right way. So I played college basketball, right?
Mhm.
Shooting a basketball. You could shoot a basketball all day long, practicing, working hard 12, 14 hours a day. And in theory, you can think that you're working smart because you're out there. You could wear a weight vest, you could wear ankle weights, right? You could lift weights to get stronger. But if you're not working right because your elbow is out, I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how smart you think you're working, you're going to miss shots. There's an old line in basketball where the elbow goes, the ball flows. But if you simply put your elbow in and shoot the right way,
Mm.
the ball has to go in. It's physics, it's mechanics. You put
Mhm.
the ball on your fingertips, get your elbow in. But one little thing, if you work incorrectly, not the right way,
Mhm.
you can work 15 hours a day,
Mm.
right? So you think you're working harder and smarter, but if you're not doing it the right way, then it's not going to work for you. It's the same as an entrepreneur, right?
Mhm.
If I have everything working the right way, I don't need a bunch of people,
Mm.
right? And
Mhm.
so that's the first thing, is we always ask, is everything working right? Let's check this. Now we do that. We check our business, every month. Once a month, my assistant Cindy and I, we have a meeting, and okay, let's check things out. How's things? Are we still doing everything the right way, or we get off course and now we got a course correct? So we're always having those kind of meetings. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's the first chunk. Second chunk is, I don't do anything I can pay somebody $10 to $100 an hour to do for me.
Mm.
Right now, I'm not saying that I hire employees, but
Mhm.
I farm that stuff out. So,
Mm.
like contracts, well, why would I do a contract? Farm that out to a lawyer,
Mm.
pay him or her the $100 or $200 an hour, whatever, and have it done the right way.
Mm.
Right. So when we were trademarking things, right, there are a lot of people who go on and they like research on the trademark office, and they download the forms and they fill it all out, and then they check off stuff and they send it in, and it gets rejected because they checked the wrong box for the wrong category, and they waste all this time in order to save $800 that I just go and pay the lawyer to do and make sure it's done right the first time.
Right.
So that's the difference. So we always want to make sure we're doing things right. I don't want to be doing things that I could pay somebody 10 to 100 or $200 or $300 an hour to do for me,
Mhm.
right? To make sure it is done the right way, because that will save you a whole bunch of time,
Mhm.
right? We systematize everything, right? And you know what a system stands for? SYSTEM, save yourself time, energy, and money,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So I wrote 24 books, and I'm just finished the 25th and the 26th one. Well, how can you do that? Because it's systematized.
Mm.
All the books are laid out the same way. The covers, pretty much look the same. Okay, we
Mm.
just switch out the words. So you mentioned success starts with attitude, right? Well, I got great leadership starts with attitude,
Mm.
right? We've got selling more starts with attitude. So we switch out the word, we switch the color, all the testimonials on the back stay the same. I wrote a generic introduction that can be used in all 3 books. I wrote a generic conclusion that can be used in all 3. All the stuff in the front, testimonial, copyright, all that stays the same. All the stuff in the back promoting the website stays the same. So all I got to do is give my designer the new inside stuff that is, selling is different than leadership, et cetera. And she switches that out, boom, going off to print. Right? Millionaire success secrets. I have millionaire career secrets. I've got millionaire referral secrets. I've got millionaire entrepreneur secrets, millionaire time management secrets, millionaire selling secrets. So same concept. All that stuff is the same. The page layout's all the same. I just give her the new inside middle part that relates to that book that I do. And she switches it out. Boom. Ready to go in a week, 2 weeks. So even books, Arthur, we systematize. We try to systematize everything. I'll give one last little rule that might be helpful for your folks. Look for everywhere in your business where you're doing what's called rework. Okay. So you're doing the same thing. If you notice 2 or 3 times you're doing the same thing, you got to systematize that. So when I notice that I am doing a book a second time and I'm repeating a lot of the same stuff that I did for the first book, like the back pages. I'm writing new back pages. I'm writing new introduction. I'm like, wait a minute. Why don't I just systematize it? Why don't I write a generic introduction that can be used in every book? And why don't I write a generic last page that is all about taking action? Because that can fit in every book I do. Boom, systematize that, because I was writing those over and over again. Right. So we look for everywhere where we're doing rework again and again. I'll give you one last example. When I would do consultings with folks one-on-one for a 5-hour consulting, my assistant would go to the hotel, pick them up, bring them up. Well, I started tracking like how much time she spent in the car going down and coming back. I mean, it's only like 3 miles to the hotel. But do you realize that came in a whole year when you're coaching over 100 people, that came out to over almost 100 hours in a year? And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I paying her to go driving, picking people up? So let's get a car company that does it. And now what can she now do with that 100 hours that I just saved her? That was rework. Same thing, rework, down and up, down and up, down and up, sometimes twice a day, right? So that's the key. We just run it by little rules like that. And when you run by rules like that, you can systematize easily. You don't need a whole bunch of people, right? And you can run a lean, like we were talking earlier, you can run a lean and mean and keep the green business.
Yeah, I see a lot of business owners, they just cutting out the overhead and just, they're just going to the meat and potatoes and just really just focus on, their top line revenues and their businesses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll give you one also. Like when I was still doing a lot of speeches, I stopped flying airlines like Delta and American and Continental and, all those. And I started using Southwest. You know why? Because all the time I was wasting booking flights. And then if you have to switch a flight because an event got changed, you would be penalized. And it was like a nightmare to like rebook flights. And Southwest is like, no, man, just go right on the app and switch a flight whenever you want. And, and I can't tell you how many times like, an event ran late and like, oh crap, I'm not going to make my flight in 2 hours, and go right on Southwest, switch it. Okay. Instead of 6 p.m., I'm on the 8 p.m. No big deal. Right. And so when I started noticing all the headache with the rework and working with these other airlines, I switched to Southwest because I could do things the right way, systematize it, get rid of all that wasted time. Right. And so just minor little things like that, minor little adjustments.
Now, that's very powerful because, I like the power of delegation. Let's have a conversation about delegation. Now, I know the minimum wage of a millionaire is around $524 an hour. So I always tell my listeners, what can you delegate for $524 an hour? Or you can go way beyond that. What can you delegate that's within your current budget? How important it is for entrepreneurs and business owners to delegate tasks out that they're not currently good at so they can just focus on increasing their revenues in their businesses.
Yeah, so it depends. Okay, again, here, I'm glad you asked that. I'll give you one of my little rules. I call it my 4Ds. Okay, 4Ds. So there's a task that happens. Well, run it through this filter. Number one, you either do it, meaning you do it yourself. You either do it. Number two, you delegate it to someone else who can do it. Number three, if you don't do it, if you don't delegate it, then you discard it and get rid of it and don't worry about it, right? And number four, don't worry about it. So do it, delegate it, discard it, and don't worry about it. And so that's how I run my business. So I'll give you an example. Okay. I didn't schedule this interview with you, right? That's something I delegate to my assistant. So she runs all admin stuff, right? Because the minute I start to do admin stuff, right, is the minute I don't get to do what I'm good at, like you mentioned earlier, your high producing activities, right? Like, is it more beneficial to our business for me to be emailing you back and forth and going on your schedule to pick out a time and spend an hour to do that? Or is it more important for me to spend an hour writing a part of the new book that's going to come out, that's going to bring us business? Right? So when I look at that, I go, well, should I do this or delegate it? Well, no, I should delegate that. Right? And then guess what? I don't worry about it. The fourth thing, once I delegate it, I don't worry about it. Okay? Because that's her department.
Okay.
Right? Now, flip side, there are things that she delegates to me, right? Like anything that has to do with a question that our coaching clients have about their business. If it's an administrative question, she handles it and I don't worry about it.
Absolutely.
If it's a teaching or coaching type advice type of question, she knows to pass that to me, delegate it to me. I do it and she doesn't worry about it. And then there's certain times where, let's put it this way, Arthur, you and I are buds, so I could say it this way for you and your listeners.
Okay.
Right? Have you ever noticed that there are certain people in your business that come into your business and they become shit disturbers?
Absolutely.
Right? I just look for, man, how can I just add chaos to Arthur and everybody I come in contact with, right? You ever notice those people?
Absolutely. Yes.
Right? Well, that's where the third D comes in. Disregard them. So we disregard those and don't worry about them. Like the minute people start causing that stuff, this is our little rule, right? Well, I'm not going to do it, meaning I'm not going to talk to her. Talk to them. Assistant's not going to talk to them. She's not going to delegate it to me. I'm not going to delegate it to her. Right? So the only thing left to do is disregard them, get rid of them, and don't worry about them. And so, yeah, so I have a rule, and here's my rule. I'm sorry, but the customer is not always right. As a matter of fact, some customers, not the majority of them are great, but some customers are nothing but shit disturbers, meaning they wake up every day looking to bring drama and chaos into their energy. 4 words to follow when dealing with them: cut them loose fast. They are not worth dealing with and not worth your valuable time and attention. So here's my rule. I do not, under any circumstances, work with anybody that causes drama, irritates me, or wastes my time. So boom, disregard them. They're gone and we don't worry about them.
I'm with you. I don't waste my time with any energy drainers.
No, man, life is too short. And you know what, really, I'm not trying to be like, hard-nosed about this. Here's why I adopted that rule years ago. I lost my sister Vicky to a brain tumor about 20 some years ago. She was fine, and then one day collapsed and had the right side of her body paralyzed and had a brain tumor and passed away about 3.5 months later.
Oh, sorry to hear
that. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And Arthur, it taught me a lesson, man. We can always make more money. You can go bankrupt, come back and be better than you were before, right?
Absolutely.
We can always get more customers, right? You lose a client, lose a customer, you can go get 35 more, right? You can always rebuild a business. You could lose your whole business and come back and be better off, right? Build a better one. But we can't get more time, right?
It's true.
Think about this. Every second you let somebody infiltrate drama and chaos and BS into your valuable time, that's a second, not even a minute, a second you don't get back, right? And I understand how important time is, right? And buddy, you should never let anybody disrespect your time, waste your time, bring their agenda of crap and drama into your time, right? And you should protect your time from that stuff. And the minute somebody wants to take that precious, beautiful blessing that you have of time, and you know how I know that's a precious, beautiful blessing? Because my sister doesn't have any more time, right? And you've got folks that are special in your life that aren't here anymore, right?
Absolutely.
So when we realize and understand as entrepreneurs how valuable time is, you almost like get ticked off. Like, why would I let anybody bring that crap into my business and my life? Because time, next to breathing, time is the most precious commodity we have. And every second that somebody puts their drama crap into your time is a second you don't get back the rest of your life. And how dare they steal your precious time? So
that's
so there you go. 4 Ds, buddy. Do it, delegate it, disregard it, and then don't worry about it.
Wow. Wow. I remember I heard a powerful CD that you did for one of your coaching clients.
Okay.
And what you just laid out is very, very lucrative to, not deal with, people that have, toxic energy. And I remember you were saying in that CD, you were saying that this young lady, she wanted your valuable time, but you said, well, okay, you want my time, come to the seminar. Let's build rapport and I get to know you. But you said that she kept calling you.
I actually remember this.
And she didn't want to basically make the initial investment. And you put her on I would say the shit list, but you put her on the list and said, I don't have time to be dealing with people that don't value my time. And you just laid that out, that's a magical blueprint, which I tell people all the time, deal with people that values you. And just like
Amen.
Gandhi says, be the change that you would like to see in the world. But unfortunately, people don't see it that way. And they feel as though since you are, making a lot of money, then, you have the time in the world to give me.
Yeah. Well,
But
the thing about it is I have no hard feelings against those people, right? But you can just go do that crap somewhere else.
yes.
But you're not bringing it into my life because I know how much time is important. Again, I always remember because my sister doesn't have any. She's not here.
That's right.
So that's how important time is, right? And not that a lot of these people are bad people. They just have some bad habits. But, and they're like, well, you should be fixing me. I'm like, I'm not a fixer. I never said I was a savior. There's only one person who's a savior, right? Our good Lord, right? I'm not here to save people. I'm here to help people. But if they don't get their stuff together, then I need to disregard them. They need to go away. And if they want to come back into our world, our entrepreneur world, if they fix that crap and come back the right way, then I'm happy to help them. But I'm not going to let them bring their agenda and their stuff and mess up our business. It's not worth. Life's too short. Life is too dang short.
Absolutely. No negativity allowed in my life.
Love that. Love
Simple
that.
mantra.
Love that. Love that. I have a similar rule, right? I don't do drama. The minute somebody starts with their BS drama I have refunded $40,000 to people for their coaching fee and wished them well. I was like, but some of these folks they're great people, but I'm like, we don't have time for that. We're here trying to do great things, make the world a better place. And you're imposing your drama into my family, our coaching members. I like you. You're a nice person. I think you got a good spirit, but we got to disregard you. You got to go somewhere else because you want to bring that drama and stuff in here, and we just don't want that. So here's your money back, and wish you the best. And some of them actually corrected it, and then we let them back in later, which is great. Kudos to them.
Right.
And others, you keep seeing them. They're like working the clubs, right? They're at the next club, and they're working like the seminar, like they're still doing the same stuff, working at different, all these years later. So hey, God bless them. Wish them well, but doesn't mean you need to be around them and having them work with you.
Absolutely. No toxic energy in my life.
I love that, brother. Love that.
James, let's have a dialogue about money. Now, I know money is not value. Money is just a facilitator to do transactions. Can you explain to the audience, how would you define money?
So, well, a couple different ways. Number one, I put it right up there with breathing. Right? And let me explain. Because if you keep it in perspective, the right perspective, then this will make sense. The more money you have, the more people you can actually help. When a church needs a roof, it actually takes money to buy the hammers, the nails, to pay the construction workers, right? And if you don't have the money to do that, or the church or whomever, or you can't write a check, the roof doesn't get fixed. All the hoping and wishing in the world still doesn't get those nails hammered. And right when people need food because they're hungry, it actually takes a check to buy food to give to hungry people.
That's true.
Right. And so for those who think money isn't important, I beg to differ. Because if you have it in the right perspective, right, not the love of money and worshiping money, but if you realize how money's a tool, right? Same way that, a knife or a gun is a tool. A knife can be used to slice sushi or to hurt somebody. See, it's the intent behind it by the person, right? So if your intent is to really serve and help people, and especially those less fortunate, and make the world a better place, then I'm like, man, why wouldn't you want to go out and make as much money legally and ethically? Because creating mastery over what you do, why wouldn't you want to go and make as much as possible? Because you're going to be able to help more people. Right? That's a different way of looking at it versus, oh, I want to get money so I can get a Lamborghini. Like, who cares about that crap? Right? And I admit we all go through that. It's funny. There's an old line, Arthur. Man, the older I got, the wiser the world became. No, it's the older you got, the wiser you became, right? Right. So, like, we all go through that stage. Like, we buy goofy stuff that we don't need, and all. And then you get older, and you start to, I think, hopefully, you start to realize like what's really important, right? And I feel like I have an obligation now to deliver massive value, help a lot of people, so that I can be compensated rightfully so for that, so that I could give more away and write more checks and feed more people, or like build a school in Africa like I did not too long ago, because kids were sitting on rocks. Their school, they're sitting on rocks, right? And be able to write a check for 50 grand so that they can have a school with tables and pencils and a floor, right? I mean, like, well, you need to make money to do that stuff. Right. And so money's not everything, but it's right up there with breathing if you have a servant's heart, because you realize, man, you can help a lot of people if you do it the right way. Right. So that's the first thing. Second thing is there's this old line that money doesn't buy you happiness, but it allows you to show up at your problems in style. Right?
I like that.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. There are a whole bunch of wonderful people who, when this pandemic hit, wishes they had made more money earlier and had it saved up. Right? Because a lot of unfortunate people were out of jobs, work. Let's just take speakers. There's no speaking industry. Right. And so I used to tell people for years, one of my rules is always live beneath your means, because you never know when winter is going to sneak up on you. Right. And
That's true.
so, if you, and here's the thing about money too. Let's just touch on this for a second, right? A lot of people have this false misconception of making money because they've been led to believe that if they're making money and a lot of money,
Mhm.
that society deems that they're doing something unethical or wrong.
Mm.
There's even shows on TV about greed and all that stuff. And right, and what gets reported in the media. Oh, this person, this executive, took all this money from this pension fund and all that, right? But do you ever see stories on any of the news stations about, hey, this guy who made $1 billion in real estate every year goes out and saves 100 different people whose homes are going into foreclosure because he goes and writes the checks to the banks to save their farms and their homes. You
Mm.
don't ever hear those stories.
No.
So we always hear the bad story, right? In media, if it bleeds, it leads, right?
That's
And
right.
so when you hear that over and over, you start to get that embedded in your subconscious mind that, oh man, I better not make too much money. I'm going to be a bad person. Well, what I always say is, does that mean you're doing things unethical and a bad person? Or did you maybe have mastery over something? You mastered a process, you got really good at it
Mhm.
to where it just happens,
Right.
right?
That's
Nobody thinks LeBron James is scamming people.
no.
They think this guy over the years has mastered basketball and became so valuable that we're going to pay him $40 million a year plus all these endorsements and all. And nobody ever says that guy must be doing something unethical. No,
Mm.
because they, like with athletes, we go, oh, Tom Brady mastered how to be a great quarterback and win championships. LeBron James mastered it. So nobody ever attaches that, like, must be doing something wrong to athletes, but they do it to entrepreneurs all the time, right?
Mhm.
Arthur's making all this money. He's got to be doing something shady,
Right.
right? And
Absolutely.
no, you got real good at something.
Mhm.
And it becomes like LeBron doing a layup or a dunk, like nothing but a thing. Well, you can do your business like nothing but a thing because you got mastery over it. And when you do that and you add tremendous value, you make a whole bunch of money,
Mm.
right? And so that's my take. A couple like little different angles and opinions on the whole money piece. I don't think money's bad if you have the right heart and you're helping people and you're giving, it, not all of it, but you're giving some of it away to help others. And I think money's a great thing if you're doing the right thing. Um, what's that line? Crap, I just went blank. Ah, anyway, I forgot it. But
Mhm.
money's got nothing to do with it. Money's neither good nor bad.
Mhm.
Money's got nothing to do with anything. It's
Mm.
the look, and I'll just lay this online. If someone's an asshole and they make more money, guess what, brother? They become a bigger asshole.
That's true.
Right?
That is
But if
absolutely
somebody like you, me, your listeners, your watcher, your viewers, right, make more money, guess what? You get to just be a better person and do it in a bigger and better way. So money's got nothing to do with anything. It's the intent behind it.
mm. You
So
said money is a tool. So would you
yeah,
say that money is the byproduct of the value that you uncover?
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Mm.
100%. LeBron James goes to the Lakers and,
Mm.
or let's take when he left Cleveland and he went to the Heat, Miami Heat, right?
Mhm.
Right. Instantly they sell out season tickets the minute they sign him.
Mm.
Look at that massive value. And people were complaining he's getting, at the time, 35 million bucks. Are you kidding me?
Mm.
Like, go look at how many tickets he just sold in 20 minutes when he announced he was going to Miami.
Mm.
And then he takes them to a championship.
Yes.
Look at that massive value he delivered.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, he should be compensated.
Mhm.
Conor, I'm a big UFC guy. Conor McGregor with the UFC.
Right.
I laugh at this. I don't know if you watch mixed martial arts, but there were guys. I used to like chuckle when these guys would complain about like they only got like $1 million for their fight, and I'm thinking you used to make $50 fighting in a barn. You all ought to be like sending Dana White like Christmas gifts and birthday gifts for like all the sweat and blood and the Fertitta brothers, all the years and the $40 million they lost trying to get it going. And And these folks come in and complain about, I only got $2 million for that fight. I'm like, you used to make $50 fighting in a barn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But they brought all this massive value, and Conor McGregor deserved to make what he made because it was his promotion and his flamboyance and him bringing the whole country of Ireland, and he put mixed martial arts into a world global sensation that wasn't there before. He should make $100 million for the value he brought.
He changed the whole game.
He did. Yeah. And you know what, man, it's just a sidebar. I know this is about entrepreneurism, and he is an entrepreneur, but I mean, I think it was 4 years prior, he was on welfare as a construction worker. It was like, I think it was a matter of 4 years, maybe it was 5 at the most, but like within 4, he went from welfare and, living with nothing to all of a sudden being this global sensation and making $100 million. So kudos to that guy for not quitting and giving up.
Absolutely, absolutely. He just made the transition from, where he was in the beginning stages to where he is today.
Yeah.
And, entrepreneurs and business owners, they have to develop the right mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like, Floyd Mayweather, right? I love Floyd. I met him in Vegas a couple times. Nicest guy.
Yeah, he's in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, super nice guy, man. And so you got to understand a lot of stuff like you see as promotion and all that, but man, just so kind to me and others. Super nice to everybody. Didn't matter what color you were, if you're female, male, tall, shorter, younger, old. He was always kind to everybody. I've always seen him being super nice to everybody, right? And then people were like, I can't believe he made $300 million. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Look how many people he's helped. Think about all the folks that work in the arenas who would not have had work had he not fought 50 times.
Absolutely. And he fought a lot of fights for free.
For free. Yeah. Yeah. So when you look at like how many, but nobody ever credits him for that kind of stuff, right? Oh, he's flamboyant and all that. I'm like, okay, yeah, but that's part of the promotion. It's a soap opera. It's a reality show. It's wrestling, right? Right? WWE wrestling. It's part of the entertainment, right? But like nobody ever reports about the money he's given to charities or the people he's helped or when he would go visit kids who are sick. How come that's never being reported? Look at all that value he's bringing because of what he's done, not to mention the sacrifice, right? All those years in the gym and all that stuff that nobody said. One of my favorite quotes has always been Muhammad Ali. Champions are made in the gym, not the ring. Right? It's all the stuff like entrepreneurs, like, you see somebody accepting an award for entrepreneurism, right? And like, oh man, got an award, right? Oh yeah, but you don't see all that stuff that nobody saw for years when they were sweating and working till 4 a.m, to try to make payroll and, so they didn't lay people off. And I mean, just don't see all that stuff, and so anyway, I'm on my soapbox now. I can get off. But hey, Arthur, I got like 1 minute, brother, because I got that 2-hour coaching call I got to do here coming up.
Okay, I got a 2-part question for you.
Okay, quick one.
What do millionaires and hecto-millionaires do on a consistent, regular basis that unfortunately broke entrepreneurs, they just don't do?
So that's really hard to say because every person, as you know, is an individual, right? So you have my friend Jeff Hoffman on, right? And there's probably things that who's co-founder of Priceline.com. Jeff does that are different than I do, and I do things that are different than Jeff. That doesn't mean either one's wrong. It just means it's different, right? So, but if I had to say a universal answer to maybe satisfy your question, I would say 2 things: that they think and act differently, not just think. They think and then they act differently. A lot of people think if you think differently, that things will change for you. And that's true to a certain extent. But in order to really like fly and accelerate, you got to think and then you got to get off your ass and act. Right? The movie The Secret, I think, screwed up a lot of people. because I think it brought a false sense of awareness of what we have to do as entrepreneurs, right?
Mhm.
And I've tried it, brother. Man, I sat on my couch in a lotus position going, and hoping the window opened up and customers walked in, and it never happened.
Mm.
But you know what? When I shifted the way I thought
Mhm.
on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, not this pie in the sky wishful thinking, but when I really thought more entrepreneurial and thought, how can I add more value? How can I help people? How can I solve their problems more? See,
Mhm.
that's a conscious daily, weekly, monthly, a yearly way of thinking, a new way, right? But that's not enough, right? When I actually acted on those things that I thought about and put them into motion,
Mhm.
that's when I started to create the value,
Mm.
right? I come up with an idea thinking about it, but if I don't do anything about it, does it really serve and help people?
Mm.
Oh, it's just a hopeful wish up here. So I think if I was going to give you a universal answer, it would be that they think and act differently.
Mm. They think and act differently.
Yeah.
Now, before we sign off, let's talk about cafeteria selling. Should entrepreneurs and business owners, when they get off the stage, should they have a high tier product and a low tier product so they won't give the audience to do any type of cafeteria selling?
It depends. Like and I always say that because I really hate to give blanket cookie cutter answers because everything in life is not that way. There's not one size fits everybody, right?
Mm.
I think it depends on your situation. Okay. So there are times when it might be right for you to have a low ticket item and a high ticket item.
Mm.
Um, I have a couple of clients that they don't do any low ticket items. You
Mm.
start with them at $10,000, and if you don't have 10,000 to start, then they don't work with you.
Mm.
They don't even want to deal with anything below $10,000, right? And
Mm.
then they have higher programs, $75,000, $100,000 programs. And then I know others who do really well with the ascension model. They start with 47 to the 97 to the 197 to the 497. They ascend people up to the higher ones. So again, it's hard to say because it depends on that specific situation
Mhm.
and what they're trying to accomplish. So yeah, I know that's the politician answer,
Right.
but it's the true honest answer. So, but hey, brother, I've got to run. I am 2 minutes past, and I got 40 people waiting for me.
Can you explain to the audience exactly where they can find you?
Oh yeah, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. It's real simple. So my company is Big Money Speaker, and then all you got to do is add .com. So bigmoneyspeaker.com. Real simple.
James, I appreciate you coming on my show today because the whole premise of my show is to educate entrepreneurs and business owners that they can live the life that they truly desire, but they have to be open to these important principles. So I don't like what I see what's on the news, so I create my own news.
Oh, brother, I love that. And I appreciate you. Appreciate we've been friends all these years. And thanks for remembering me, man. That was great. When I saw that like this is on the schedule, I was like, oh man, my buddy Arthur from years ago, man. I hadn't seen him forever. So,
Yes.
but thank you, brother. And keep doing what you're doing. You are making a difference. And I'm honored to know you.
Well, I appreciate you, James. To everyone that's listening, watching right now, get involved with the phenomenal James Malinchak. You hear the passion that came through his voice on my show today. Go to his website, bigmoneyspeaker.com. He has incredible content that could take your mindset and your business to a whole nother level. But remember, you have to implement what you learn. So to everyone that's listening and watching right now, remember that the strongest asset that each and every one of you have is your brain, and what you think about and what you take action on that will become your reality, and your mentality creates your reality. May God bless each and every one of you, and bye for now. Thank you, James. I really appreciate you conveying value to my audience,
Oh, anytime, brother. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
and I appreciate you too.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Take care, and bye for now. So to everyone that is watching me, follow James Malinchak. If you want to make money as being a big money speaker, he is the one to follow. Go to his website, bigmoneyspeaker.com, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be coming out with powerful underground interviews where I'm going to be interviewing more people that are involved with the mafia, and I'm going to be interviewing other people that are multimillionaires and hectomillionaires on how you can actually take that blueprint to excel your business to the next level. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on. That way you'll be well informed when I publish more successful live interviews. My name is Arthur Robinson Jr. And remember, God loves you, and so do I.